Welcome, everyone, back to the Association, another edition of the Association, a weekly podcast held by yours truly, Jerry Riles, and of course, the one, the only, the dramatic one, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just an obvious question when you're talking with this guy. You're going to get some answers that it's just going to floor you, ladies and gentlemen. I always want to say six-time All-Star, but he played in the National Basketball Association for 6 years, ladies and gentlemen. He's a product of Chicago, Illinois. He is currently the senior counselor for the National Basketball Players Association, and he's only one of three former professional NBA players to hold a doctorate degree. We're honored to be on board with the one, the only. He's Dr. Lloyd Walton. What's up, Doc? How are you?
It's all good, Jerry, man. It's good to be here. Dramatic. How about passionate? I like that word, passionate. Yeah, passionate. Very passionate. Yes.
Enthusiastic. Incredible. Knowledgeable. Whatever you want to use, man. Throw it out there. It's the best, man. Okay. Before we get into it, because we got a lot of NBA conversation to discuss, and I definitely want to pick your brain because I know a lot of people tuning in to the Association, the podcast, they want to hear from the good Dr. Lloyd Walton. And I'm in my Hall of Fame room. Right, we're all being safe, and we're staying at home per our governor J.B. Pritzker, and of course the mayor Lori Lightfoot. Everybody's staying home, staying put. I'm down in the man cave, man. I got the Rewind Sports 60 poster over there. You can see the sign behind me. I got pictures of the greatest of all time, myself, Michael Jordan, Walter Payton. I got Muhammad Ali on the wall over there. So I'm in my man cave. Man, what about you? I'm in the Hall of Fame room. What about you, man?
I'm in the man cave. On my left, I have my jersey from the Kings. And to my right, I have a certified jersey from MJ.
My man.
And following that, I have a picture of MJ that's signed to me. On Media Day back in 98 to 99. And then to the far right, a picture of me and Spike Lee, a picture of me and Shaq, and then the Milwaukee Bucks jersey, the authentic Milwaukee Bucks jersey that my wife got for me. So yeah, I'm in a good place. Got good Marquette stuff where I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated many years ago playing for the national championship. So yeah, not a bad place to be, man. There's a lot of memories here, I want to create some more though.
No, and you are creating some more. Before we get into it, I want to, see how things are going with the book, man. First and 40. I know a lot of people are waiting for it to hit the market. How's everything going?
It's going great. Gosh, how do I want to put this? There's some things that I'm working on outside the book, and I'm deliberating between. Should I release the book before I finish this piece that I'm working on that's going to be done real soon? Because one might affect the other, okay? And I'll just say that, obviously, I'll keep you posted and we'll talk offline. But one thing I'm really seriously working on right now is very, very special, but it could easily affect the notoriety of the book and what have you. So I just kind of want that to kind of play out over the next probably month, even though the book is still in editing. Right. And I expect that I'll find out tomorrow, Sunday. They always send me an email or a text on Sundays to let me know how far they're away. So once I get that, I'll still have some ideas about where we're at. But going well, man. I did my part, Jack. I spent 9 months writing it. I feel very comfortable about what I said. Again, it's a memoir about being the first male child born in my family in 40 years, all the way up to me receiving my doctorate degree. And there are a lot of ups and downs, hills and valleys, side tracks and all those kinds of things. But I think more importantly, it shows how individuals can fight through challenges, how you have to take some risk, how if you really want something, you just have to work for it, get as much information as you can, be prepared, right, and go for it. I was thinking earlier today about the transition between leaving Marquette, being the 40th pick in the draft, and going to the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, there was a lot of noise out, right? So I was hearing people saying, he can't do this, he can't do that, he's too small, all of those kinds of things, which I heard. I'm not like somebody said, well, I didn't hear those things, right? I heard them very, very clearly. But I wouldn't allow it to put doubt in my mind, in my work ethic, in my desire. I just kept working. I heard them, but I just kept working. And so to be a part of the NBA where there was less than 300 players that played in the NBA, I can look back in retrospect and tell you how hard you have to work, how disciplined you have to be, how focused you have to be, and how willing you have to be able to compete. Because it took all of that and more for me to reach that goal. So the book is really, really good about those kinds of different things that I think you need in terms of your characteristics to be able to achieve. Because none of us are successful without there being some kind of challenges and some kind of obstacles that we have to fight through. We're never the best of the best, right? I don't ever see myself as ever being the best of the best, and I don't think most people do. There's some things that happen in your life that allow you to continue to go through, and the other part of it is that there are people sometimes that you don't even know that support your desire to do something or achieve something. And those things all kind of come together that allow you to be able to move forward and get what you want.
Man, that's very inspirational. It's very powerful. And I don't want to get too much into the book because I know there's a lot more in store. But what was one of the motivating factors? Who was that person? Because like you said, you hear the noise, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Last Dance with the Chicago Bulls, that dynasty team of the '90s, and of course Michael Jordan. But when you were coming through, and you said you heard all of that noise, but you continue to persevere and press forward and continue to work hard. Where did you find your inspiration? Was there a person in your life that you heard that small voice in your head to say, keep pushing, keep striving, keep driving? Where did you find your strength?
My strength came from my family, in particularly my mother, my grandmother, and my great aunt. And my great aunt and my grandmother were twins. So those three, and I call them my tag team in my book, the tag team that raised me. But here are three women who worked their butts off. My mom worked 3 jobs at one point in time, all at the same time. My grandmother worked for a company, but she was smart enough to know that she had to have her own business. So she was an entrepreneur. You remember the times when you'd walk into people's houses and they had plastic covers on their furniture?
Of course. Of course. And in the summertime, you sit on the couch, man, and the plastic stick to your legs. You got shorts on and you're all sweaty and stuff. Yeah, of course. That's old school, man. That's old school.
Okay. So my grandmother started her own business. She learned how to sew this plastic. She knew where to go get it. And when I could learn to drive, I would take her to the factory. We'd pick up these big rolls of plastic, right? And she would come back home. She'd go out and measure, and then she would sew people's plastic covers. But anyway, those 3 women, yeah. And then, like I said, my mom had 3 jobs at one time. So those women created those kind of values in me. Like, if you want it, go get it. Work for it. Don't be denied. Now, there's something that I learned with sports along the way, Jerry, and I think we all learn it, but I learned mine through sports, is that you're never going to win every game. And so the deal is, the value of it is, what experience did you get out of competing for it? And that's what I always got. But those 3 women, my tag team, the values that they told me about hard work, perseverance, sacrifice, confidence, all those kind of things I got from those 3 women that allowed me to move forward in the most difficult times.
Man, God bless you, man. And he really has blessed you. And you're reaping the fruits of your benefits. And you sow what you reap. You reap as you sow, right? And you've done a fantastic job. Your family has been an incredible structure. And I know I'm looking forward to reading the book. And I know many of your fans and people taking in this podcast are looking forward to it as well. So definitely keep us up to speed.
Hey, I don't know. So one of the things I wanted to share about the book that I think is really, really eye-opening is I got an opportunity. Well, Michael Wilbon from ESPN, who is a Chicagoan, wrote an unbelievable foreword for the book. And I'm extremely happy about that. And it was so good, I think I'm going to just put it in the book rather than the foreword, because I have somebody else who is another Hall of Famer who also wants to write the foreword. So, but I've been really supported well with the individuals that are in this book, from Don Nelson, the winningest coach in NBA history, the first African-American general manager in the NBA, which is Wayne Emery, is in the book. And I mean, in the book by sharing their perspective about me and my career. So yeah, I'm excited about it, man. I can't wait till we finally say, well, here's the book. It's on the shelf. It's at Amazon. Go get it. That's what I'm looking for. And I'll keep you posted, man, and keep the audience posted as well.
Yeah. Hey, is something that it's for everybody. It's a family read, whether you played sports or whether you're a teacher, or whether you're an entrepreneur or whatever walk of life. This book will be for everyone.
Absolutely, because all of us are challenged, right? All of us need to call on the great values from our families, right? Discipline, right? Hard work, right? Being able to set goals, right? How do you set these goals? Are they achievable, right? Are they obtainable, right? So being able, it meets everybody where they are in life, right? That's the bottom line. I had a number of goals, obviously, to want to play college basketball, to want to play in the NBA, to earn a doctorate degree. All of those goals and those inside goals between there. In order to get a doctorate, you got to finish undergrad. Then you got to get a master's. So it's a lot of those goals that I was faced that I wanted. And so I was faced with the challenges of how do you get these goals? Nobody gives you these things, right? You have to earn them. And it wasn't easy in a lot of cases. I had to work through them with the discipline that I got, the confidence that I got them, and the desire to have them. And then, as I always say, the people on the peripheral who are always there to help you, your family and others, like people at Marquette.
There you go. So let me ask, and we can go on and on and on, and we will continue to go on and on. But you talk about challenges and overcoming, the obstacles in your life to meet your goals. And I ask you about the people, is this a book for everyone? What I would find challenging is this generation of young people, they're in the mindset that they want it now. It's got to be instant. We've got Uber Drive and we got Amazon delivering stuff, overnight and things of that nature because of the mentality of this new generation. You think that if they get your book in their hands, that it maybe can change their perspective on some things on life, or are they out of touch with the realities of putting in hard work to attain your goal?
No, I don't think they're out of touch by any stretch of the imagination. We've always evolved, right? So from a generation to generation, right? And so this is their way, competing, stepping towards the challenges, understanding what they want, how to get it. So no, but I think the book would still inspire and motivate them. Now they may have a different method, if you will, that they employ to actually do it. We say they want everything, right now. Well, that's the kind of world we've given them. It's not their fault that, you can put something in the microwave and it's ready just like that. It's not our fault that they go to their phones, right, and pull up all the information that you and I had to go to the library and get. It's not their fault. This is what we've evolved to and given them an opportunity to access information a snap of a finger. And they know how to use it. The problem is that we don't always know how to use it. And so we say, what are you doing? That's complicated. You shouldn't be doing it. I'll tell you real quickly. I had my grandson, Maddox, in the car with me several months ago. And I had two phones. So he says, Grandpa, give me a phone. So I give him a phone. He's messing around with it. And I was like, he showed me something on the phone. I want to get into it. But I said, well, how did you do that? He's 7 years old. And he looked at me and said, old people. Boy, I tell you. So, yeah, man, it's not their fault. But I will say this. And I think, I'm a reader. And that's something that we had to do, Jerry. When we were growing up, we actually had to open up the book and read it. For school as well as for our own enjoyment. What I learned about reading books and what have you is that places that I never saw, they would take me there because the description of these places was so vivid that you could go to Hawaii. I hadn't been to Hawaii at that point. You could go to Africa, even though I hadn't been there at that point. So I think when I talk about how hard it was and a coach that wanted to cut me from the team when I was with the Milwaukee Bucks, how I went back to my room and how I thought about what do I need to do to prove to this guy that I deserve to be here. The focus that I had to have. You can't go get that out of the book. Okay. That's you. That's you and your higher power, whoever you want to call it. That's between you and him, right? How you get your focus, how you get your commitment. So there are parts of it that if someone read it, they're going to have to figure out, how does this fit to my life? I can't just skip certain things about making a team, achieving a goal, unless I go through these things, right? I got to have the discipline to work hard even when nobody else is around, right? I got to eat the right things. Even if nobody is feeding me, I got to make sure I get them. I got to get the rest. Nobody's making me go to bed. I got to make myself go to bed, get my rest, so I'm prepared to operate at my optimum level the next day. Nobody's going to babysit you when they're paying you $3 or $4 million. It's time for you to babysit yourself. So these are the kind of lessons that I'm talking about that I have in the book for players. Now, I don't talk about them. I talk about me and what I had to do to achieve. And when I didn't do them, how I didn't achieve. That's the other part of it.
My man, thank you so very much for sharing. And again, we're looking forward to seeing more in your book in the upcoming, hopefully in the upcoming quick soon months as we battle this pandemic, as we battle this pandemic. But, to start off this podcast, and again, it's the Association Podcast, a weekly podcast with Dr. Lloyd Walton, current senior counselor for the National Basketball Players Association, and of course, 6-year veteran who played in the association, National Basketball Association, the weekly podcast. Let's transition to the league, and let's transition, since you mentioned the amount of money that these players are generating. There was just some news on the horizon as of this podcast on Friday of this past week regarding a pay cut because of the pandemic, because of COVID-19, that it was voted on between the players union and the league that players will take a 25% pay cut since there haven't been any games. And I know Commissioner Adam Silver was hoping to get things back up and running, I think between May 11th, May 15th. But things are still up in the air. Can you share with the audience, what transpired?
Very, very simple. And I think we touched on this before on one of our podcasts, is that in most industries, you have what they call force majeure line in your contract with your employees and the organization and the owners. And what that means is that if there is like a pandemic, something that doesn't allow you to actually perform your duties as a basketball player or as a car maker, whatever it is, then they don't have to pay you, right? Because you're not performing. So one of the things that happened is that that I believe is that the two sides got together, the owners and the Players Association, and tried to figure out what was fair for both sides, right? Because when you look at it, if you say that we have this line in the contract, then I don't have to pay you anything, right? So somewhere along the line, cooler heads prevailed. They made a decision that 25% would be the amount deducted from the player's regular contract, and most players get paid twice a month. And I think that's fair. I don't think players grew up trying to get something that they didn't earn. They earned their money by playing the game. And so they understood that, in my opinion, they understood that we're going to have to give up something. And I think 25% is fair. My hope about this is that it doesn't go much longer, the pandemic that is, and that this can be resolved and everybody can come back to, I won't say come back, but start a new normal where we're allowed to play basketball, even though probably the start will be without fans. We still can play basketball in other sports, and then we can work our way into where at some point in time the fans come back in and everybody can be able to attend and see things that they love to see, which is sports and athletes playing.
There's a lot there. One thing I want to piggyback on regarding the pandemic and what the players deserve to be paid. When there's a strike season, was it 08, I think, the strike season, and the players didn't get back to playing until December, the 25th Christmas game is when the league, the league finally started up. How did that affect the pay of the players? Because it was a shortened season. And I know the commissioner at the time, David Stern, may he rest in peace, tried to get as much of those games impacted in that short amount of time. How did that affect the pay of the players back then?
Well, it's no different than any other industry. If you don't work, you don't get paid. And so they didn't get paid during that lockout period. It just didn't get paid. And sometimes, Jerry, if you don't prepare properly, and everybody kind of knows when these kind of things are coming up, the next collective bargaining, what have you, you kind of know when it's coming up. And so, you start preparing meaning, all right, I'm not going to buy some of the things that I'd like to buy, maybe, right? I want to get a new house. Maybe we'll put that off until we get this resolved. this collective bargaining agreement resolved, and I know I'm going to continue to get paid. So players didn't get paid, and some were prepared and some weren't prepared. You know, you when you know it's going to happen, then there's no reason not to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that, right? We didn't know that the pandemic was going to happen, right? At least the regular citizens. Some people in this White House, they knew, but anyway, we didn't know. I'm just saying, we didn't know, so it was hard for us to prepare. I think obviously we would have better results economically with individual families and what have you if they had known, hey man, there's going to be a point in time this year in 2020 where you're not going to be able to work. Then they wouldn't have spent the kind of money that they spent. This is just my belief. Nobody is stupid and crazy, right? Then you wouldn't have saw people going out and filling up their trucks with toilet paper, right? And paper towels. They would have known this, and they would have did it little by little. But when you don't know, these are the things that happen to us, and the same thing happens with our players. They knew that this was they didn't know this was going to happen, and so everybody's caught off guard, and hopefully everybody's prepared, including our players.
Yeah, hopefully everyone is prepared, and I hope that this isn't the calm before the storm. I know the president and the White House, they want to get back to as normal as we can and try to get this economy rolling, because as you talked about, there are a lot of people who are suffering because they had not prepared for this pandemic. Sports, it's a unifier. It brings everybody together, regardless of your economic background, your ethnicity, your wherever. Sports it brings everyone back together, and that's what we're shooting for. Adam Silver, like we said, is interested in trying to get players back on the court. Mid-May, probably. I don't know. Probably is not going to happen. But if and when that happens, you see that players will get on the court without fans.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other way to do it. To start. You can't bring 15,000 people together. What I hear, and I watch this religiously, we don't have enough tests done. We're not going to bring, I think it's stupid if you try to bring a bunch of people together, right, side by side, and not expect some repercussions and this pandemic to continue. So the only way I see it, at whatever point in time it does come back, is going to come back in stages, if you will. And the first stage, in my opinion, would be with no fans and ongoing testing for everybody involved, the essentials, right? All your players, your coaches, your trainers, all of those people would have to be tested on an ongoing basis until everybody's cleared. And that may take 6-7 months, right? And then they want to start the tracing. Okay, where are you going? Who you been involved with? All this kind of stuff. So all of those things are important, man. And I don't think that, man, I want to see this game back so bad. But none of that is more important than human life.
Right.
Okay. And I'm moved in a way that I don't want to be moved emotionally when I watch this stuff and I see people suffering and ultimately dying from a pandemic. That bothers me. That disturbs me. Honest, good people, from our frontline people to police officers to the everyday mom, to the bus driver that I saw. This is something different, man. And it really, really bothers me. And I hope everybody's trying to take the precaution that they need to take so they can save their life and not hurt anybody else's life.
That was very, very well said and very passionate to express your feelings and emotions regarding this. And you would hope that most people and many people will take the same thoughts and actions what you just shared there, because this is it's a cliche and we've been using it, but it's real. We're all in this together, and I think we're a long way off. And we keep hearing about this, the second phase, and the second phase it could be a lot worse than what we're experiencing now. But our prayers continue to go up for those hit heavily by it, and of course for the good Lord upstairs to answer our prayers. In the meantime, we still have to get through this together. I want to get with you as far as The Last Dance. It airs on ESPN Sundays. Yep. The start of is a 10-parter. It's 20 hours of footage from the Chicago Bulls dynasty teams of the 90s and The Last Dance of 98, their 6th championship when they called it. That Was All She Wrote. What are your expectations? And of course, you work for the man Michael Jordan. What are your expectations, anticipation as far as The Last Dance?
Jerry, I'm excited. I'm excited as hell, man. I was talking to my mom, 85 years old. She's been a big fan of the Bulls during that area, obviously because I worked for Michael. But she's a sports fan. She's excited. My wife is excited. You know, I have not talked to anybody who's not excited about seeing this. And here's the thing, man. When you get a documentary like this, and I've been sharing with people, and you and I have had the discussion as well. I think, you know, when you have an opportunity to see and hear what's behind the curtain, that's what makes it exciting, man. You're going to see and hear some things that obviously that you didn't know, you couldn't even imagine, and you're going to see some people in their real element, okay? In their real element. And you're not going to know this, and sometimes it's going to be a little bit offsetting or disappointing, but this is real. And this is what a documentary is. It shows you for who you are. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see what the repercussions, not the repercussions, but how people feel about it once it's shown and seen, you know, what they feel about Phil. How do they feel about Jerry Krause? Because I got my own feeling about Jerry Krause. I had a personal relationship with Jerry Krause.
And it's in the book.
It's in the book. Yep. Yes. Mom and I were talking this morning about it. I'll never will forget when he came to our home and it snowed. And he walked in and didn't knock the snow off his feet. And my mom was like, hey, buddy. And she didn't know who he was. It was just Jerry Krause, man. Hey, step and take your shoes off or get the snow off your feet. This is facts, man. So, anyway, yeah. But to all of the players that were part of those different teams, those rosters, will probably have some kind of honest opinion and viewing that you will see about them that you didn't know, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, some guys that we didn't necessarily, we think about Judd Buechler, okay? You forget about Judd Buechler, right? You forget about, what was the guy from UCLA, the big white kid? Gosh, his name escapes me right now. He was just
was it Aaron Gray?
No. He was like, no, this is with the winners, man. Aaron was here long after that. Gosh, and he passed away. But he was a consummate teammate. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was what's his name? He was Rodman's guy.
Yes.
Jack Haley.
There you go.
Yeah,
so you're gonna learn some things about Jack Haley, man. You're gonna find out, and there's one player nobody really mentions, and he was important to this dynasty, is Ron Harper.
Oh, he was fantastic.
And Ron came here after many injuries to his knee, and he wasn't the same, but he was still an integral part of the Bulls winning, right? Yeah. So I want to hear from him. I want to see some things about him. I want to see the Breakfast Club, as they called it, when Scotty, Michael, and Ron Harper would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go lift weights, and then come to the gym for their workouts and what have you. So this is going to be exciting, man. It's going to be exciting and revealing, right? More than anything, revealing. I got a chance to see on the clips one of my favorite people who's passed away too, was the head of their security for many, many years, John Capps.
Yeah.
John used to travel with the team. He did the whole security thing and all that kind of stuff. Just brought back a lot of memories, man. I'm really looking forward to this tomorrow.
Yeah, I think, like you said, and I echo it, I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing this. Even LeBron James has in Instagram and through ESPN said he's definitely looking forward to, watching this Last Dance. And to me, that's a credit to the entire organization. That's a credit to Michael Jordan and those teams. And to me, that's why he has to be classified as the GOAT, the greatest of all time, because of the impact that he brought to the game, not only to the city of Chicago, not only to the game, but globally, the impact. And when he left for the first time, when he retired the first time, due to the tragic, situation that occurred with his dad, I told my buddy last night, because he says that Bill Russell is the greatest of all time. And I give Bill Russell all the credit with what he accomplished with the Boston Celtics back in the day. But I said, when Michael Jordan left for the first time, the stock market plummeted. It went down. When he said, and then when he came back with the facts to say, I'm back, the market went up. So when you have that type of impact in the world, and this is before social media, what we're experiencing now, and the amount of millionaires that Michael Jordan created based on his brand, and LeBron is doing incredible things off the court. He's doing incredible things. But to me, that solidifies why this guy is the greatest. And you have everybody in every walk of life looking forward to seeing this Last Dance, man.
Yeah, I don't debate players that play in different eras. I think it's unfair because I'll only consider debating when everything is even. So we play in the same era, right? We play in the same era. That means we're playing in a situation where we all have the same things to help us. We fly private versus we had to give on private, whether we had to get on commercial flights like a Bill Russell, had to sleep in the back of the hotels and stuff like that. And then you look at how many players were in the league when Bill Russell played versus now. So things are not even unless you play in the same era. That's just me. I think both of them are unbelievably great. I think there's obviously some debate between who's the best, and everything evolves, right? We have more now, say during the LeBron era now than we had during Michael's era, right? And Michael had more than Julius Erving did, and so on and so forth. So I just think it's unfair because one thing that happens, I think, that's so unfair is that it's almost like people will put, and I'm saying people will put the one person down to make the other person look better, and that's not fair. I just think that we had some great players in their respective eras that helped this game evolve to the game that we have today. And I think this will continue. That's my passion, and that's what I want to contribute to this game, is that we continue to make it evolve. When you think about even a David Stern, who turned this game into a global game, we were watching games on tape delay, man.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
And now we get, unlike this pandemic time, because this is the first time I've ever come home and I couldn't turn on some sports, but we could turn, without the pandemic, we could turn on the game, in all sports and watch it and get all the information about the team and how they played and all this kind of stuff. So, things are just so different. There's so many different variables in different eras. For me, it's hard to compare them. I think Michael, I have a special affinity for Michael, obviously, because I worked for him. I had LeBron ever since he came in the league. He was with most of the teams that I was responsible for. We have a special kind of relationship. I just think you're talking about two fantastic guys, and I will never be able to overlook 11 NBA championships, period, by Bill Russell. Right. It's just hard, man.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it, and you're a lot closer to the game than many of us, having played. But Michael is always near and dear to my heart. Just the type of competitor that he was. And still is in the business realm of things. Even though people give him a hard time about his business, it's tough. It's tough. But Michael exemplified what it meant to be a Chicagoan, and he turned the mentality and the culture of playing for the Chicago Bulls. He took it to a higher level because we had Jerry Sloan and Norm Van Leer, who were scrappers, and we loved that team back during that day. Michael learned from that. He learned the vibe of the city, and he took it to the court, and he put it out there and took on all comers. Hey, go ahead.
I was just thinking, I don't know, I'm looking up, I got a lot of pictures up here, different things that happened when I worked for him. So I want to tell you this quick story. So Michael came by the Family Life Center one day, and he said, we went in the playroom, right? So there's a ping pong table. And so he says, let's play a game of ping pong. I'm like, okay, all right, it's MJ, it's a nice day, we play a game of ping pong. He wins, right? So I'm like, all right, let's play another one. I win. Now when I win, I'm like, all right, we done, because it's 1-1.
Right.
Man, he looked at me and said, no, we don't leave like that. And he was so damn serious. I thought if I didn't play, he would fire my ass. All right, I'm serious.
Right.
So we had to play another game, man, because somebody had to be the winner, right? Somebody had to win 2 games more than one. And so I had to play another game, and I would say I had a little bit of anxiety and nervousness playing that third game. Because I'm like, if I win, what the hell's going to happen to me?
Right.
That's a true story, Jerry. So I know how competitive this guy. He did. He won. I was scared shitless. I didn't want to.
God bless you.
Oh God. Oh God.
You know, and
oh
I'm
God.
glad you shared that story, and thank you, because people, there are people who say, Michael Jordan was a jerk. Michael Jordan was this, that, and other. And you know what? I got Vince Lombardi quoting here, and yeah, he's from Green Bay, and it's in the Hall of Fame room. So don't crucify me, Bear fans. But Vince Lombardi is saying is what it takes to be number one. Right.
Yeah.
And there are different things that you have to do in order to be number one. Like you said, the Breakfast Club, getting up early in the morning, going to the gym, lifting, and then going to the to work out and practice and everything. There are certain things you eating right, the whole 9 yards, you got to do to be number one. And there are some people say, hey, he was a jerk, he was an ass, he was this, that, and the other. But Michael Jordan was, like you said, a no nonsense guy. Only thing he wanted to do was win. And he wanted to beat you. And if you weren't up to his level, he really didn't have anything to do with you, because you didn't have that winning mentality that was ingrained in him. And if you understood that, in my opinion, if you understood that from the man, to me, that's even more respect. And we see that in what, unfortunately, with Kobe losing his life. But Kobe saw that and wanted to emulate that, because he knew what the heart of a champion looked like.
And what a real true winner looks like.
Yeah.
That Breakfast Club, getting up with Tim Grover was the trainer for those guys.
Yeah.
Getting up that early, that kind of sacrifice. Michael wanted guys with like-mindedness, right? That were able to see the value in getting up early, getting your body right, strong or strength, preparing for the groove and the grind of the season during the course of the season. A lot of guys think that you only do that before the season, right? They did it throughout the season, man. And then I know that Kobe also took on Tim Grover for a while after Michael retired and what have you. So, guys make some serious sacrifices to be winners. And one of the things that I think we're going to see is Michael doing that. And he wanted guys who are like-minded in doing that. Kobe did that, but Kobe did it in a different kind of way. I think Kobe's career, we saw and we heard more about his likes and dislikes about guys' performance and conditioning than we've heard about Michael's. We got snippets. Now we're getting ready to see the same kind of thing that we heard and saw about Kobe that we didn't get a chance to see about Michael. And the same thing is going to be said in a few years about LeBron James. His desire to win, right? There's no table I would not turn over to get to a winning championship. Mm-hmm. And sometimes somebody is going to have to be sacrificed.
Yep.
My good guy image is going to have to be sacrificed for us to get there, because I need you to be on the same page. I need you to be willing to make the same kind of sacrifices and have the same belief that I do. You cannot be a winner if you don't, man. It's unfortunate, but you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in any industry. Look at any CEO. Those guys, man, they have this unbelievable persona for the public. But behind closed doors, when they got to get it done, it's a different animal. The same thing applies, man. And we just get caught up, fans do get caught up in like the public persona, the nice guy, the autograph sign or the shaking hands, to take an analogy from politics, kissing babies and shaking hands, all that kind of stuff. But hey, man, when it's time to get busy, when you got to get it done and you believe in winning, as Pat Riley said, you want to win more than you want to take your next breath.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You got to be willing to do that, and sometimes it doesn't look good. It's just unfortunate.
No, it's right. And when Michael would give that look, you knew to get out of the way. When he would give you that one look, boy, it's like, uh-oh, I touched the nerve there. Hey, Doc, thank you, man. One thing about LeBron, though, I think the one thing out of all of his successes and accomplishments, I think the one thing that's going to kind of hurt him and maybe separate him a little bit from that tier of Michael and Kobe, then LeBron, is the fact that Kobe and Michael stayed with pretty much, despite the last dance and Krause kicking him out the door, Michael built his legacy with the Bulls. Kobe built his legacy with the Lakers. I think, maybe historians and maybe fans alike will look at LeBron with all his greatness and say, hey, he had to go someplace else to seek a championship instead of with that loyalty and that commitment with the respective team. His hometown, nonetheless, he had to go seek support in order to reach that highest ground. Whereas the other two, they did whatever they had to do to accomplish their success.
Well, I think that I look at it a little bit differently. Just to think about going to Miami, he won. He came back to Cleveland, he won. He's won in both places. And we don't know what's going to have to happen with the Los Angeles Lakers. But as I alluded to earlier, you know, things have changed. Things are players, and certainly not owners. They've never been committed to a player for long term.
Right.
So, I mean, it is what it is. That's his legacy. I think he's done more with less in terms of winning than both of them. But hey, man, they're all three outstanding players, gave their heart and soul to the game, and that could not even be debated, man. And that's what you want young people who want to play the game to understand and see. I got to give more to the game. The game has got to be better off when you leave it than when you came in the door. And if it's not, you haven't done your part.
Hey, man, this is the last question because we can go on and on and on, and we're usually doing this association. It's just mind-blowing, man, and it's just captivating, and it embraces you and draws you in every single time. So it's there for everyone. But real quick, the G League, there's a high school phenom that just declared that he's going to the G League to play as opposed to the one and done and going to the league because of the rule changes with the National Basketball Association. Is this a trend that you can see? Because it seemed like a lot of players now say, hey, I don't want to go to college. I can develop my game on the next level. The G League is now the next level, and you can make some money as an 18-year-old kid coming out of high school, not interested in playing college ball, playing pro, and eventually make it to the G League and eventually making it to the highest level. What do you think about that?
Man, here's the only thing I think is great for the player. School is not for everybody. And the further we go along, the more and more that's proven. Okay, you should be able to pursue the kind of endeavor, the kind of career that you want to. So they're given this opportunity. Here's the only thing that I think about that, because this first kid that did is going to make $500,000.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. We both know that's a lot of damn money. Okay.
For 18 years old, yeah.
Right. That's a lot of money. Okay, but let's look at the money. So anyway, the money is going to drop down to $250, and after he pays his agent, then we're talking about $200,000. Okay. So it's a lot of money, but when you really look at what it really is, it's not going to be the kind of money you can live off for the rest of your life.
Right.
Okay. That's number one. Number two is, I don't know the kid, but my question is, can he play in the NBA? That's my question, okay? Because if you can't play in the NBA, and you'll probably get 2 or 3 years to prove that you can or you can't, what are you going to do with your life? You're going to be like 21 years of age. What are you going to do with your life if you cannot perform at that level, okay? You spend a year in the G League, and playing in the G League is not playing in the NBA.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's a world of difference. Okay. Everybody down there is trying to get to the next level. So ain't nobody trying to make you shine, my brother. Okay.
Right.
I need to shine because I'm trying to get there. Right. And I'll use this word because it fits. There's a lot of selfishness that goes on because a player has to prove that he deserves an opportunity to play at the next level. So nobody's going to be highlighting what you can do. Now, having said that, if you can't at 21 and you've been paid $500,000, now you get to the league, maybe a couple million, what are you going to do with your life? Are you prepared? If you made $2 million, say your first 2 years in the league, that's $4 million. You made the 500 from the G League, that's 4.5. Let's cut it in half right away. We're talking 2.3 or whatever.
Right.
Right. So, all right. So what's your next steps? To live a long, productive life. What's your next step? Right? Maybe overseas at that point. But my point in saying all of this is saying every kid still needs to be prepared for whenever the ball stops bouncing. That's the problem with kids. You're not prepared because I don't care who it is. We just got through talking about Michael, Bill Russell, Kobe, and LeBron. The ball stopped bouncing for each and every one of them except LeBron at this point. Are you prepared to move on with your life when that ball stops bouncing? And that's the question, man. That's the real question. You don't want to go back home and live in mom's basement, okay, after this, right?
Right.
You don't want to be that guy walking in the gym where sneakers are not clean and everybody's talking about, you know, who that was. They don't even know say who that is.
Right.
They say know who that was, and you're the same person, same name. You know
Right.
who that was? And I've seen it. I've witnessed this, and it's not good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just hope that we can come together because the G League players are not part of the NBA union. Okay.
Right.
So we don't have any relationship with that. Maybe they'll become a union organization at some point, and maybe I will have an opportunity to address them and provide the kind of services and programs that we have for our NBA players. But I want guys to be able to pursue it. Why not? They should be able to. I just want you to be prepared when it's all said and done. That's all.
National Basketball Players Association Senior Counselor and Life Coach. He is the good doctor, Dr. Lloyd Walton, on his weekly podcast, The Association Doc. You're the best, brother. Stay safe, and God bless you. Looking forward to looking at and watching The Last Dance, and always a pleasure to get a chance to join you on this podcast, brother.
Thank you, Jerry. Hey, man, take care of the family. Talk with you soon, okay?
You're the best, man. Stay safe. We'll talk to you.
All right, brother. Bye-bye.
Bye.